Hi there mate, how's it going? It's Benja here, and this is a breakdown and review of 1883 episode 6 titled Boring the Devil. This one is mostly about Elsa's emotional recovery following Ennis's death. She's suffering like this for the first time in her life as she's lost someone she truly loves for the first time, which is a new experience for her. We quickly learn that it's highly unlikely she is pregnant because she has her period. They show this to us to inform us that Elsa's probably not gonna have to raise a child on her own. To comfort Elsa, Shea approaches her when she's sitting next to Ennis's grave. Shea has lost his family to a disease, so he knows what she's going through, and he speaks to her about what keeps him going, starting with the idea that you trade souls with people you love, so a part of them lives within you even after they die. He thinks that when they pass away, a little piece of you dies with them, but there is still that part of them that's inside of you, and he believes they can use your eyes to see the world. This is a touching observation by Shea, whose goal is to see the ocean because that's what his wife wanted, and a part of her still lives on inside him, which is why he's hoping to show her the ocean, and maybe then she'll appear to him. That is Shea's dream, what keeps him going. And yeah, you might not buy it, but it doesn't change the fact that it helps him psychologically. And it also boosts Elsa's morale just a tiny bit, at least enough to make her return to the herd because they need her. Hearing from people that have suffered in a similar manner can only help, and it was nice of Shea to do this. It was quite an emotional scene, Sam Elliott was brilliant in it, and I liked it. Moving on, the convoy is getting ready to cross the Red River at Dawn's Crossing, and this is sort of a trading post where they can get ready for the journey ahead by selling and buying things and hiring people. For example, Noemi wants to sell her late husband's belongings, the convoy needs a cook, and so on. This is the place to take care of their needs. Margaret thinks it's a good idea to ride into the small settlement with her daughter, but this turns out to be a mistake because someone basically catcalls Elsa and she pulls out her gun on him. The guy doesn't think Elsa's got it in her, but she assures him she does, and we know she's right because she just executed Ennis's killer. Luckily though, James is close enough to get a handle on the situation. He sends the guy away and takes away Elsa's pistol, telling her that you don't point your gun at something unless you intend to use it. Elsa is adamant that she was gonna use it, and I definitely believe her, but we couldn't find out if she would because James intervened. He sends Elsa to camp while Margaret begins shopping. Though she's not really buying anything because she starts drinking whiskey with the store owner and they just do that throughout the day. That's because Margaret needs to wind down as this journey isn't exactly where she thought she would be at this stage of her life. And with everything that's going on with Elsa, Margaret just needs to let loose, and she does. I thought the scene when James comes around looking for her was absolutely hysterical. She was so drunk that all she could do was laugh, and the store owner was the same. They made fun of the way James spoke. I think he said he was gonna study the river, and the ladies just lost it, which was the funniest moment of the episode. James does study the river alongside Thomas and Shea, and the plan James has in mind is gonna take 2 whole days to enact. They'll run the cattle across first, they will personally take the wagons across one by one, and they'll use wooden boats to get the emigrants across. This is the only way they don't suffer too many losses, but it is going to waste time they don't have. Shea knows that, but he also knows James is right, so they have to do it this way, which is what pisses Shea off. It's not that he disagrees with James, no, it's the fact that this pace won't allow them to complete their journey before winter. He thinks they should be in Kansas by now, and he wonders if this river is enough to halt their progress, what are they gonna do when they get to the Rocky Mountains? So the emigrants will have to take care of themselves sooner rather than later. Later on, a drunken Margaret insists she'll never forgive James for upending their lives and putting Elsa in her current situation, but James assures her even he doesn't forgive himself. He goes on to have a conversation with Elsa, telling her she shot an already dead man, because he was either gonna bleed out or they were going to hang him. James tries to argue that what Elsa has done is completely different from what he did back in the Civil War days. He remembers the first man he killed, who was actually still a boy and he was a flag bearer. At first his face was etched into James's memory, but as time went on and James killed more and more people, he couldn't even remember that flag bearer's face. So James thinks his killings are nothing like Elsa's because the man she shot was going to die one way or another. He's trying to make sure that Elsa doesn't feel guilty about what's happened, and it's up to you to decide if he is right. I mean, he is somewhat correct, but Elsa still took a pistol and shot a man in cold blood. That's not something that's gonna go away with a little speech like this, I presume. But for now, it helps. In the meantime, Thomas hires a cook for the convoy, and I really like this new guy because he is hilarious, and I hope he gets some more airtime this season. This new hire will be great for the convoy because they can finally start eating some beef. They weren't doing so because they didn't want any beef to go to waste, and that's no longer a problem thanks to the cook. They also hire a new cowboy, Colton, who at first is hesitant about joining, but he decides to do it once he sees Elsa. He thinks he's just gonna cozy up to her, but she gives him a deadly stare, which again shows how good of an actor Isabel May is because the anger she displays here with a simple stare is amazing. You can see just how pissed off she is. Colton eventually leaves her alone, saying to Wade that it's like she's a widow. Wade argues she is because they were about to get married. Nonetheless, Elsa gets better the next day and shares her name with Colton, but she warns him not to flirt with her because he is too pretty for her. She prefers to be the pretty one. So from this conversation it's clear Elsa is better. And it was great to see Elsa going on with her life after a while because they made her suffer a lot, and the talks she had with James and Shea definitely helped. In the end, we have another monologue from her about how out here you turn toward the pain and you let it tear into you in the hopes that the devil gets bored and moves on to its next target. And I guess that's what happens to her. She embraces the pain, she lets it tear into her, and the devil eventually leaves her alone. Also, hiring the cook isn't the only thing Thomas does in this episode, as he helps Noemi sell her late husband's belongings. Thomas buys her a mirror as a gift, and Noemi's like, you buy me gifts, but you won't be with me. So she rightly points out that Thomas is the one who is scared here. He is scared to be loved and to give his love, so instead he buys her a gift. But Noemi isn't having any of that, and these two get it on as a result. So I guess now they are an official couple. Overall, I was expecting this to be a relatively slow episode following Ennis's death, because that was such a pivotal turning point, and that's exactly what we got. I definitely thought they would make us think that Elsa was pregnant for a little bit longer, so that period bit was a surprising moment in the episode. Thomas and Noemi's relationship was set up brilliantly earlier in the season, so that payoff felt satisfying. Margaret ended up forgiving James, and that was nice. I think my favorite moment was when Shea helped out Elsa. I like the new cook, but the new cowboy has been a little bit generic so far, and that's about it. What did you think about this episode? What do you think about our new characters? Leave your comments down below, like this video if you've enjoyed this breakdown, and subscribe for more movie reviews and TV show breakdowns. That's it for now, take care and see you in the next video.